Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Slickmoth, and I'm back again with another video. And in this one, I want to sort of address some of the negative comments that I've gotten in the past few months. Not hate comments. Again, I'm not addressing this because, I'm crying myself to sleep at night, because none of the comments are all that mean or hateful, to be truthful with you. Some people, again, the worst comment that I'll get on YouTube, and it's not, again, bad, it'll be like, Slickmoth, you're a DC fanboy, or it'll be posed in a little bit more of a more snarky, kind of rude way than what I said, but that's pretty much the edge of it. If I get one comment that's actually like a legit hate comment per day, more than one per day, I will be taken aback. And as many of you know, I do read 90%, if not all of the comments, depending on most days. But I read most all of them. And, like 90% or more, and I don't get hate comments. So, again, I'm not doing this video because, to tell you all to stop being mean to me. That's not the point of it. And, in fact, I'm very appreciative that that my comments have honest discourse in them. And I really like reading all the comments, even if most of you all don't agree with me in there. And I'm very appreciative of that I have a YouTube channel in which the comments are actually about the content of the videos that I'm making. I look at other YouTubers, not so much in the comic book world, the comic book community is pretty good about this, but in other genres, you make a Call of Duty video and 90% of the comments are about nonsense, drama or toxicity and just toxic things in general. So the point is, I'm very appreciative that I have great subscribers, and this is the honest truth. That's, when I make a video about Batman, everybody in the comments is going to be talking about freaking Batman, and that's cool. I like that, and I guess some YouTubers may view that from the perspective of like, well, Slickmoth, aren't you kind of, doesn't that disappoint you that your subscribers aren't subbed to you because they just think you're such an awesome entertainment personality, and they're really just subscribed to you because you're talking about Batman? And my rebuttal is, I actually like that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that everybody's kind of here for the same reason, for the same cause, because we love comic books, we love comic book video games, we love comic book movies, and I think that is cool. So anyway, I just wanted to let that preface out there that these comments are by no means hateful or anything like that, but some of them are a little snarky, shall we say. So I just want to address them, and I want to give you my honest opinion on a lot of that opinion that I am a DC fanboy. And what kind of amazes me, so here's kind of my thoughts on this. Here's what I've been thinking about in the past few months. What kind of takes me aback by it, and kind of the whole sentiment of it. And by the way, this is going to be a one-take commentary, so sorry if there's more uhs than normal. I kind of do that a lot, but I cut them all out, of course, in editing mostly. So anyway, that's the thing about these comments that pose me as a DC fanboy, but it's meant in a negative way. It's meant to offend you and to say that being a DC fanboy is a bad thing, right? That's not good. You don't want to be a DC fanboy. But to me, when somebody says that, to me, I just kind of perceive it as like, no shit, like, of course I'm a DC fanboy. Look at my wall. Look at my back wall. You've seen my Loot Crate unboxing videos. My back wall is littered in Justice League and Batman v Superman and Harley Quinn. And then on the wall that you can't see, there's Joker posters and Bane poster and then a Batmobile poster. And then on the wall that you can see in the back, more Joker and the Dark Knight posters. And then in the wall behind you that you can't see behind my camera is DC Rebirth and Justice League and just Batman v Superman posters and more stuff like that. So this is the world that I live in, you know what I mean? Like, and I begin to think about it more and more, and superheroes really is my life, and in a good way. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, again, I wake up in this room that is surrounded by posters, right? And then the first thing I do, I pull out my computer, and then I read through all of my comments that are also talking about superhero video games and talking about Batman and things like that. And then I will read comics in the middle of the day, or make a video about comic books, or make a video about comic book video games, and then later in the night, I will watch videos from other YouTubers that are talking about comic book video games. So to me, it's my life, basically. It's kind of weird to think about it in that way, but that's pretty much what it is, and it's a hobby. It's not, because it's my career or anything. It's just because I love it that much. So anyway, people say I'm a DC fanboy. To me, it's just like, yeah, of course I'm a DC fanboy. That's the point. And that's not supposed to be a bad thing. And I'm also a Marvel fan too. And in the comments of my Civil War review, and also in the comments of my Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition review, which kind of spiraled into a Civil War rant, which I was not intent upon that happening. It just kind of happened. That's what a lot of the comments will point out, is essentially that I didn't like Civil War because I am such a a kind of flaming DC fanboy to the point in which my opinion is skewed, right? I cannot accurately judge Civil War because I'm such a huge Marvel fanboy. Or, excuse me, a DC fanboy. And therefore I hate Marvel. And the fact of it is, that's just not true. I mean, from a historical standpoint, I've debated Marvel fanboys about movies like Age of Ultron, which I personally really, really enjoy. And I've debated Marvel fanboys who are trying to tell me that the movie sucks, and I'm defending it saying it's awesome, right? And there's exceptions to that, but large in part, I've liked a lot of the Marvel movies, and I have a lot of Marvel comics, a lot of Marvel back issues. But with that being said, what you're going to see on my channel mostly is DC, because I like what DC's doing more right now, and that's the honest truth. And yes, it is true. It's not just the reason that you hear me talk about DC the most in the past year is because it's just so coincidental that what DC's doing I like better. It is a little bit deeper than that, right? I will be a DC fan for the rest of my life, and to be honest with you, I do prefer DC over Marvel, and that's just the honest truth of it. And I don't think that's news to anybody, but again, I don't think that's a bad thing, because I love Marvel comics as well. I really, really do. And again, so this is where I want to talk about, I just like what DC's doing right now better, and that's why you're going to see me talk about it more. For example, let's go all the way down the line. Let's go from comics all the way down to animated movies. Comics. DC is doing Rebirth right now, and Rebirth has been producing nothing but phenomenal comic books. I'm reading every single series, every single issue of every single series, and I love it. There's not a bad series in DC Rebirth. Titans, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Batman, everything is great. It's all very, very good, and I'm reading every single issue of it. And DC right now is returning to the roots. They're bringing back the characters that we love. They're bringing back the story arcs that we love. And they're bringing back the costumes that we love. From Nightwing, from the red, back from the New 52, red to blue again. And that's all honorable, and I love it. And it's awesome. I'm reading all of it. It's great. And then I look over at Marvel. And I have not bought I'll be honest with you, I have not bought a brand new Marvel comic. And when I mean brand new, I buy Marvel back issues quite often. I buy, I'll buy, a Spider-Man comic from 2009 or that kind of thing. But a new comic, like a comic that's coming out next week, for example, I've not bought one of those in months, and months. Because the fact of it is, I don't like what Marvel's doing right now. You see all this news, and none of the heroes are actually in their own books. I'm one that I don't like when, Jim Gordon is Batman in the New 52. I was like, oh, I'm not that interested, to be honest with you. It's like, it's okay, but is Jim Gordon as Batman? This is kind of weird to me. I like Bruce Wayne as Batman. So then I look over at Marvel, and Captain America isn't Captain America, Iron Man isn't Iron Man, Hulk isn't Hulk. Like, nobody's who they actually are. You look at Iron Man right now is a 15-year-old girl. It's like, what? what the fuck are you talking? I'm not spending $3-4 on a comic where Riri Williams is Iron Man. What is that shit? What are you Marvel, are you on crack? Are you on crack? I'm not. No. No. I'm not reading Riri Williams. Who is that? I don't know who that is. I don't care about her. I don't care. I'm not gonna buy that. And you may see that as stubborn. That's just the honest truth. Again, I'm looking at it. Okay, on the right side we have DC. They're returning to the roots. They're bringing back the characters that we love, fan service, great stories. And then you see on Marvel, what are they doing? They're not servicing the fans. They're servicing maybe hipsters that aren't Marvel fans, trying to bring in new fans, maybe. But it's not even serving fans of the MCU. If they were smart, I think that they would, shift the comics to the MCU because that's so popular. They're not even doing that. I don't know what the hell they're doing with the comics. Okay, so there's the comics. I like DC Comics more right now, and I really always have, just in general. So again, I'm not saying that like, oh, I like DC now more, but next year I could be an MCU fanboy and hate DC. No, well, as I said, I don't hate Marvel, so that was an extreme example, but that's not the way. As I said, I'll be a DC fan for the rest of my life, and you have to understand as well, I'm not the only, you guys know this, right? I'm not the only YouTuber that has a preference, right? Like, I knowing a lot of these YouTubers personally, and just knowing, watching some of their content, I can't think of a single comic book YouTuber that actually is like totally dead set 50-50. If they had to choose between Marvel and DC, they just couldn't do it. They would rather, if they had to choose between reading Marvel or DC, you could only pick one for the rest of their life, they just wouldn't pick because the decision would be so hard. Everybody has a slight preference, if not a major one. In fact, in most cases, a pretty major one. So I don't see the problem there. And again, it changes. You know, maybe Marvel will do stuff with the comics that I like and I'm interested in. Right now, I could care less. That's the honest truth. I could care less about Marvel comics right now. So then we go into the MCU, and I've liked the MCU in the past. You know, I didn't see Green Lantern in theaters. When did that come out? 2011-ish? Yeah, 2011. But around that same time, you best believe I was watching Avengers. I was watching Avengers Age of Ultron and watching Captain America in theaters and those kind of things. So, you know, at that point, that was before I was, you know, a little bit more solidified as a DC fan and reading comics more and more, because I kind of took a break around that time. Actually, when I was watching, you know, when the movies were coming to their height, you know, The Dark Knight and everything like that, I'd actually taken a hiatus from reading comics. I had read them a lot when I was younger, and I read them a lot now, but kind of in the middle there, you know, like 2011, I kind of stopped a little bit, but the past few years I've been reading comics pretty vigilantly. Anyway, so the MCU, I mean, I didn't like Civil War, but I still like the MCU in general. Civil War, to me, again, a brief synopsis, you guys have seen my videos, you know my thoughts. I just felt like I was expecting like a really tense, dramatic story, and I just felt it was kind of a little bit light, a little bit wishy-washy. And I think a lot of it as well was coming right after Batman v Superman, which was this super tense and dramatic and just super depth, you know, just a lot of depth to that film. And Civil War, to me, it just felt a little bit on the light side, I guess we could say. So, you know, a lot of that was just because it came right after Batman v Superman, and I love that so much, maybe. But you know, I admittedly, I kind of over exaggerate how much I hate the movie. I mean, I'll watch it again most likely, but I to be honest with you, I really don't like it. That's just my honest opinion, though. But again, I love Age of Ultron. I've debated the most hardcore of Marvel fanboys who have been trying to convince me that that movie sucks ass, and I've defended it in other Marvel movies the same way. So I like the MCU. I don't know where people get that, but at the same point, I like what DC's doing a lot better. We look at DC. They're progressing their DCEU along. They're telling, again, what I would feel as though kind of weightful stories, ones that really are tense and dramatic, at least in my personal opinion, and have a little bit broader, wider, sweeping implications, at least with the case of Batman v Superman, than just, you know, hero versus hero kind of fanfic action type thing. And, you know, again, MCU to me, or the Civil War just felt a little bit light. And this year I think that the DC is killing it. I think Suicide Squad is going to be absolutely phenomenal, and as will Wonder Woman and Justice League. So right now, I'm interested, to be honest, I'm more interested in the DCEU, and the MCU it's kind of fell off a little bit for me recently with Civil War, because, you know, I guess that's kind of the launching point into Stage 4, right, or to Phase 4 they call it. And I didn't really like the launching point, so it's hard to get behind the other things. But I'm sure that Black Panther will be great. The Spider-Man movie doesn't, I don't know, I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about that, because I feel like they're going to put a hipster attraction to that, and they're going to bring in all these Disney stars that they're doing. It's like, what the hell? Anyway, so, you know, I'm interested about that in the MCU, but the DCU is really interesting me as well. So then let's go down to video games. Spider-Man PS4 really intrigues me. I'm going to be covering it. That's one of the few things that Marvel's doing right now that I think is right. I don't like the way they're taking the MCU. I don't like what they're doing with their comics. But the video games, I love it. They're bringing out more video games. They're bringing out video games from AAA high-quality developers. And then we see the Spider-Man game in development and Insomniac Games. That's going to be freaking epic. So, yeah. I mean, video games, Marvel, awesome. I love it. I don't play Lego games. I don't play the DC Lego games. I don't play the Marvel Lego games. So, I just don't like Lego games. But I'll be playing Spider-Man PS4. All fine, good and dandy. And, of course, I love what DC's doing with video games, rolling out tons of video games. Injustice 2, Batman Arkham, Batman Telltale, and, excuse me, I burped, no cuts, we're gonna keep going, and so many more. 2 WB Montreal games, a new Rocksteady game coming shortly, 2017 Marvel Telltale games, so many games to cover. DC and Marvel, loving it both, but, you know, DC, of course, has a head start with the Arkham games. Okay, let's keep going down the line. Let's go down to, I think this is pretty much the last category we'll cover, and then animated movies. I've seen one Marvel animated movie, and it was good. I couldn't tell you what it was, but DC, you just can't really compare. DC is just making basically epic movies, just so good. Their old stuff is good, you know, whether it be Under the Red Hood. The Killing Joke is going to be absolutely freaking epic. I'm only 100% certain of it. And then you can look at you know, what they're doing with the New 52 movies actually as well. I really like Batman Bad Blood, Justice League vs Teen Titans. I've not seen a bad DC animated movie, and honestly, Flashpoint Paradox, which I actually only saw within like the last year, I believe. Absolutely amazing. My favorite, you know, DC animated movie, and at first it was Under the Red Hood, and they're just all so good. I've never seen a bad DC animated movie. They're freaking epic. I love them, and in that case, it's not that I guess the Marvel ones are bad because I've not seen a lot of them, but the DC ones I think are unanimously better. So I think that hopefully I laid out to you that basically just because you all see me give a bad review for Civil War and most of the videos on my channel are about DC Comics doesn't mean I deplore Marvel or I think they suck or, you know, my DC fandom blinds me to hating them. Because that's not, once again, the case. It's just I don't like what they're doing right now on a lot of fronts. I'm not in love with what they're doing with the comics right now. And again, a 15-year-old girl is Iron Man. It's like, what? what the fuck are you doing? And again, you contrast it with DC bringing back to the roots, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just yeah, right now I'm really loving what DC's doing across all fronts with the DCEU, with the comics and everything like that. And I love DC Comics. I love Marvel Comics as well, but you know, right now DC is absolutely killing it, and you know, I'll leave it at there. Again, I really like Marvel. Don't get the wrong idea. But and again, I'm not trying to say the wrong idea. It's like, oh well, maybe in 3 years I'll hate DC, and you know, Marvel will be my thing, because really, I'll always be a DC fanboy. That's who I am. That's just kind of in my DNA. And even though when I was younger, I pretty much exclusively read Marvel comics. Once I was introduced to Batman in 2008 with The Dark Knight, and then I started reading Batman comics, it was over. It was all over. It was history from there. And there's no problem with that. Once again, every YouTuber, I'm telling you, every single YouTuber has some preference one way or another, and there's nothing wrong with that. And everybody, I feel as though, in fact, honestly, if you are in the position that like it's 100% 50-50, you are in a minority for sure, and that's good. That's awesome. I'm glad that you love both, as I do. But you know, but also I feel very passionately about the DC universe, and I always will, as I do the Marvel. So I don't want to ramble on anymore. You get the point. I like both. DC's my shit though. So anyway, guys, hope you all have enjoyed the video. Hopefully you all understand where I'm coming from, and hopefully when I ran down the specific categories, hopefully you all got a little bit of insight that maybe something clicked that like, oh yeah, okay, this guy doesn't just completely hate Marvel. Because that's just totally not the case. So anyway, guys, hope you all have enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you enjoyed more videos like this, kind of conversational, just let me know. We'll see you in the next one.